Stephen A. Smith, you're wrong. That man's wife being white has everything to do with this situation because he's disrespecting a black woman while sleeping with a white one. It has everything to do with it.
Hold on. Hold on, what?
Oh my God.
Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese situation and Dr. Umar. All right, y'all take a look at this. Which one is it? Here we go.
People. And this is where I'm going to respectfully disagree with my brother Stephen A. Smith, because Stephen A. Smith responded to the RG3 Ryan Clark situation. And I thought he gave a pretty reasonable and leveled critique. But where I'm going to disagree with my brother Stephen A. Smith, and I know he had to say this because he got a bag to protect, right? He told Ryan Clark, don't bring up his wife and children. He didn't. He just reminded him that they were white. And Stephen A. Smith said this too, right?
Right.
But Stephen A. Smith kind of stated or alluded to the fact that his wife being white has nothing to do with it. You're wrong. Stephen A. Smith, you're wrong. That man's wife being white has everything to do with this situation because he's disrespecting a black woman while sleeping with a white one. It has everything to do with it.
Hold on. Hold on, what? Yo, what is going on? What is going on? What is going on? So Dr. Umar, this shit is crazy. So this is back to the RG3 Ryan Clark situation. This just shows how simple of a people we are at times. This whole conversation, because RG3 had his white wife sitting there when he made a critique, or I don't even know if it was considered a critique. The main point, he said that Caitlin Clark hates, or he said Angel Reese hates Caitlin Clark. So what? That's not even a critique. If somebody said Larry Bird hates Magic Johnson or Michael Jordan hates Isaiah Thomas, so what? Yeah, I hate him. Matter of fact, there's a lot of coaches, there's a lot of fans that if you don't hate your biggest rival, now that's the problem. What do we always talk about with football now, with players after the game exchanging jerseys, wanting to be friends? The LeBron mentality. I want to be friends with people. Back in the day, you wanted to destroy and kill that person. You got the bag, I'm going to take your bag, and now this is my family's bag. That was more the energy before. So now Dr. Umar is turning this into, yo, is this what people mean when they say the whole grifter thing? I never knew what that word meant. So I looked it up maybe like a month or two ago, and I'm like, I think this would qualify. I don't know. But is this what people mean? Like, so now if somebody's married to a white woman, they can never ever say anything about a black woman ever. Even if it's their job as a sports commentator, as an analyst, they can't critique them. They can't say it in a bad way. This is insane. Yo, this is what, when we talk about solving racism with more racism, you just end up in this evolving, like it's the same cycle just repeating itself. It's white people, you can't say anything bad about a black woman if you got any association with white people. Like, what? So if a white person sat here and said, well, I ain't hiring no black people, I'm not, now we complain and now we stage and target protest when white people don't behave in the way that we want them to behave, right? But then Dr. Umar, he's pretty much saying that RG3 is a traitor to his race for marrying a white woman. And because he's married to a white woman, he can never, ever say anything about it. Let's just keep going. Let Dr. Umar keep going.
You can't say a snow bunny hopper is publicly disrespecting a 23-year-old black girl, young black sister. It has nothing to do with the fact that he's married two white women. Right. It has everything to do with the fact that he married two white women.
Right.
And
yo, sometimes I can't even front when I hear Dr. Umar speak. Like, as of late, I just sit back and think. Now, I told y'all before, Dr. Umar, I give him a lot of credit for teaching me a lot of things maybe about 10, 15 years ago. I give him a lot of credit. He was one of the first people with Hidden Colors, him and Tariq Nasheed, that were really pushing me to learn more about my background, to become more enlightened, to become more conscious, whatever word you want to use to describe it. But the more I hear him speak, as I hopefully become more mature and more solution-based and solution-oriented, rather than just combative and trying to always bring up problems and focus on the whatever he tends to focus on, rather than focus on the solutions, in my opinion, practical solutions. This just makes sense as to why Black people specifically, and perhaps why other cultures, but Black people more than any other culture, I'd have to sadly admit, why we haven't been able to win. The more I hear him speak, it's like, yo, this is the distraction. In a lot of ways, this is the distraction. Because it focuses on a whole bunch of other stuff that, in my opinion, this is his only outlet right now. Dr. Umar, all these changes that you want to implement, all these critiques that you have for so many other people, and for how Black men should be conducting themselves, you're not living it yourself. You're not living it. And this is something that I got to constantly check myself on. I'll be totally honest. But Dr. Umar, like, I'm not out here critiquing Black men to pacify and take accountability off of Black women. I'm not doing that. That's what you do. That's what Dr. Umar does. But then he's the same father who admittedly is a deadbeat to his daughter. So it's just inconsistent. Dr. Umar, you've got your school that you've been working on, saying that you're going to open, like, for the last 10, 15 years. It hasn't opened yet. So it's just, for me, and hey, Dr. Umar, super intelligent. I know Tom Sowell, we just got different goals, I think. We just got different goals. And sometimes even though you can learn a lot from somebody, you realize that people that you're following may have different desires, different goals. Their end destination may be a totally different place. So therefore, you got to adjust your navigation. Like, you were following this person, but now you got to realize, like, oh, he's going over there. That's not really where I'm trying to go. I'm trying to go over here, which is cool. But all this sensationalism where it's just like defending Black women at all costs, like, bro, is just, this to me just seems like a grift, bro.
First and foremost, want to give a huge shout out to everybody that continues to tap in with us, like and subscribe and join our community. If you haven't already, please make sure that you do. We look forward to engaging in some dope convo with you that can help us all elevate. So like, subscribe, and maybe even share the video if you're feeling real generous. On that note, we'll let you get back to the video. See you soon. Ew.
It seems like a grift. It seems like he just takes the racial issues a little bit too far. Now, people may say that, matter of fact, me 15 years ago, I would say, nah, he ain't taking it too far. It always does impact this. I would connect the dots in ways that I no longer choose to connect those dots. But bro, is just like, this is a bit of a reach for me. This is a bit of a reach to me. Like, this is just, and Bez wrote it. We are walking contradictions. We really are. And we all know that the hardest advice for us, any of us, to take is to take our own advice. So it just is what it is, but it just seems like a little bit too much. Just Joy. Shout out to Joy. Happy Monday, beautiful soul. Shout out to Joy in the building. Antonice, because we think white people got to lose for us to win. That's a good point. And this is, like, I feel like people like Umar, this is their fight. This is their brand. So rather than to change paths, rather than to do what Malcolm X did and change his position, Now, people could say it was for different reasons, whatever. But when you change your stance and change your position, like sometimes that's necessary. Sometimes that's necessary. Like all this critique, like the nerve of somebody to think that, oh, because I married a white woman that I can't critique. I critique whoever I want to critique. Like that gives you this is insane, bro. It's insane in my opinion. Shout out to Cuzzo in the building. Umar is a dangerous man. Not sure what we're talking about. Just go in here, but he's dangerous. And the reason why you're saying he's dangerous, in my opinion, Cuzzo, you tell me if I'm wrong, but it's the same reason why, like I said, Burkina Faso thought that, or Ibrahim Traore, Captain Traore, thought that Burna Boy is dangerous because it just distracts you. It takes you away from let me be clear. It takes it away from the world that I want to live in. Dr. Umar is a critical race theorist. He sees everything through race first. I do not want to live in that world. I don't live in that world. So that's why it doesn't align to me. If that's the world that you live in, then cool. But that's not the world that I don't identify my people based on black people, based on the color of your skin, based on whatever. I identify my people based on principles, morals, values, and integrity. The people that align with my principles, morals, values, and integrity, I rock with you. If you don't, cool. We just probably not going to be as aligned. It's all good. That's just how I see the world. When you see the world through something that you have no control over and identifying that as your people, to me, you're going to put yourself in a very compromising position. This is why black people have to jump out the window all the time to defend the worst contributors to our culture. We got to jump out the window to defend whoever it may be that's putting poison in our culture just from their entertainment aspect, whether they're a rapper, whether they're whatever it may be. We got to jump out the window to defend them because we can't allow people to talk about black people. We can't allow people to talk. Nah, that's not my people. You see it as your people just because the color of your skin. And that's the exact thing that we complained about, especially being in this country, about people making decisions just based on the color of people's skin. Wasn't that what Martin said? By the content of the character, not the color of the skin. So it's just wild to me. But let's keep going. Let's keep going and hear what else he has to say.
Ryan Clark has a right to speak on it because he's a recovered bunny hopper, no longer participating.
Do you think that what was his logic behind why it's irrelevant?
Personally, I just think he was protecting his job.
Okay, yeah.
Because you got to remember.
So they're saying that you got this dude amping it up. What was his logic? Listen to what he just said. So they're saying, what was his logic? Stephen A's logic, saying that the fact that he has a white wife is irrelevant.
Do you think that what was his logic behind why it's irrelevant?
Personally, I just think he was protecting his job.
Okay, yeah.
Because you got to remember something with our celebrities and entertainers. And I respect Stephen A because, like I said, sometimes Stephen go hard. Right. Sometimes he coons out, but he's better than most. Right. He's better than most. Yeah. Some don't even touch it. Right. Stephen.
You know what I'm realizing? Dr. Umar always gives all these lashings for cooning out, doing all this type of stuff, protecting his job. Dr. Umar, you do stuff to protect your brand. You do stuff to protect your brand. Cooning out is not marrying a white woman and raising a solid family, if that's what he's doing. That's not cooning out. Perhaps people may say that cooning out is being irresponsible with who you have a child with and never being in your daughter's life, and then her jumping on social media because she can't get in contact with you by calling you, saying that you've never been in her life, but you've created a brand and an image to where you talk about men who are doing the same, exhibiting the same behavior that you are, and calling them all these names and whatnot. So maybe that's cooning behavior. Not being there for your daughter, that seems like more coonish behavior. If one of those two things are coonish.
And A. Smith will at least touch it, so I got to give the brother some respect. In the white world, and for you to survive in it, you have to assume a racially
ambiguous
attitude towards all political issues. It's a tightrope.
Right.
Your attitude. Actually,
hold on.
You have the white world. So I got to give the brother some respect.
Listen to this. Listen to this. Y'all tell me if y'all agree.
In the white world, and for you to survive in it, you have to assume a racially
ambiguous
attitude towards all political issues. It's a tightrope.
Right.
You understand? It's a tightrope. And the reason why people are trying to call
in a time where the Democratic Party will stand up for, where you'll have a, oh man. Let me figure out a way to say this. And not that I'm scared to say anything. I'm just trying to really figure out how to say this. Ben Crump, who's no different than an ambulance chasing attorney, it is very profitable due to guys like George Soros, who put up big money for black people to do the opposite of what Dr. Umar just said in A White Man's World, of where you have to be racially ambiguous on political issues. My son, a former rapper who never popped, who got locked up for a gun charge, I believe, made, I would assume, millions of dollars during Black Lives Matter. For what? For not being racially ambiguous, but for acting as if he's a victim of white supremacy. It is very popular right now. He's talking about you have to be racially ambiguous. Bro, we've created DEI. And you got the Democratic Party fighting for DEI. Now, obviously, we know that that's not really benefiting black people as much as other groups, demographics. But just look at what people stand on. You got white people standing up for, in the Democratic Party, fighting for Palestine, fighting for this group, fighting for it. It is, if it was this before, then right now is a time where it is very welcoming for black people to lay in the comfort of our victimhood mentality, and white supremacy has oppressed us. And we can't get ahead. We can't accomplish anything because of white people. This is the time now more than ever that that's being pushed to the point where it's become super detrimental to us. So I don't know exactly what he's talking about. I know that that can be the case in certain situations, but so what? You stand on what you stand on.
All for Ryan Clark's job. And I do want to support Stephen A. Smith in standing up for Ryan Clark. He said, this man ain't going to lose his job.
He a powerful voice over there.
Yeah. And Stephen A. Smith said, I'm going to raise holy hell.
Right.
I'm not in charge.
Right.
But I'm going to raise holy hell if anybody tries to fire this man for telling the truth about this man.
Right.
So shout out to Stephen A. Smith for taking his brother's back on that.
Right.
Okay. But because you have to act politically naive, in order to be a successful black entertainer, that includes sports, you have to assume a political naivete in the face of obvious injustice. Think about that, Lou. You sitting on you sitting on the panel on TV, and the police just unalive somebody. RG3 just disrespected your little sister Angel Reese with his slave master, handler, overseer, slave driver in the back, cheering him on with the whip. Look.
Bez G wrote, it's interesting how folks talk about their love for being black, but complain and play victim like white folk are in charge of their growth, man. Let me say that again. It's interesting how folks talk about their love for being black, but complain and play victim like white folk are in charge of their growth. Like, yeah, pick one or the other. Pick one or the other, Umar. Like either we're oppressed, either we're victims, or we're kings. Which one are we? Like, which ones are we? Either we're kings and queens, or we're victim peasants. Like, which one is it? Like, which one do we want to push? We can't just be playing both sides when it's convenient for us to play both sides, and then sit here when we don't succeed, say it's because white people held me back. White people, yeah, I know black people, we kill each other, but it's because of white people. It's because of slavery. It's because of we can go back. Be having all this black pride, but be weak when it comes to white people. Yeah, you got all this black pride, but complaining like a punk when it comes to anything with white people. And it's the month of June, man. So you know Juneteenth in a couple weeks, it's gonna go down, right? Where all the black people wear amazing, black people wear this, black people wear that. Nah, you can't be a king and queen today, and then later in the day when things don't go your way, now it's because of the white man. I'm oppressed, white supremacy, all this other. Man, knock it off. It's corny, bro. It's corny. Which one is it? Like, which one you want to be? You can be whoever you want to be, but be consistent. Like, at least be consistent with it. All right, let's move on. All right, well, we'll watch it. Let me see this is getting crazy.
Boom, she had a whipping him, tear it down. But guess what? You have to act like him having a white wife has nothing to do with this. You have to assume this posture of political naivete. Yeah. You have to commit.
These old heads got to get out the way, man. I'm sorry. But Umar, it may be time, bro. We all reach that point where it's like we got to pass on the torch. You got us to this point. Cool. We appreciate it. But now you're doing more damage than, in my opinion, than you are anything else. Now it's getting to the point where we needed you maybe to get you here, to get us riled up, to get us interested in learning about our history, teaching us about our background, taking pride in our, say, all right, cool. You got us here. You taught us some history, but all this other stuff, now you're the king playing victim. You can't be the king playing victim. Like either you're the king or you're the victim. Which one is it? Let's we just gonna move on. Honest wrote, for most of my life, I've struggled. Shout out to my brother Honest in the building. For most of my life, I've struggled to understand when whites and blacks are actually aligned rather than so far apart as some want us to believe. Closed-mindedness leads to madness. I agree. For most of my life, I've struggled to understand when whites and blacks are actually aligned rather than so far apart as to what some of us believe. I agree. And it's like anything else. When you sit down with people, because we all fear the unknown, right? Because when we don't know much about white people, or if you don't know much about black people and black culture, then it's natural to fear, to question what we're unsure of. And then when you add the component of us living in a country and society that racializes everything, then it turns the temperature up to now where it's like, okay, well, I feared it a little bit and I was just unsure because I don't know anything about it. But now, just to protect myself, I'm going to make sure that, all right, now all that fear I'm turning into fire. Now I'm not messing with it. You know what I mean? Like, it just creates for a very toxic situation, in my opinion. It creates, and if you sat down and had lunch with most people, white people dealing with some of the same problems black people dealing with. The same exact problems. A poor white person dealing with some of the same issues that a poor black person. A rich white person dealing with some of the issues that a rich black person. Is it different? Yeah, it's different. But you know what? In other countries, you don't even get to gain that type of power when you're not the dominating, let's say, group like you are in America. That's why people come to America, because anybody can be in that bottom class. And within your generation, you can go from being at the bottom to being wealthy and rich if you decide to. America is not hard. America's not hard. Let's just be honest. It's not hard. It is not hard. You can live in America, work a 9 to 5, not pay attention to your job, not think about it at all after 5 or before 9, and make enough money to put food on your table, to provide for a family, to go on trips every once in a while, to watch Netflix and fall asleep at night, to not do anything extra if you don't decide to do it. We live in a country that provides us that. That's it. So, I mean, damn, like maybe a little gratitude. We need to show a little gratitude towards America for all the complaining that we do. All right, so let's move on. It's Dak. Just want to thank you for checking out our video and visiting the OG Network. If you enjoyed the video, please make sure that you give us a like. And if you're looking to join a community of inspired individuals striving for purposeful abundance, subscribe. And if you're feeling real generous, share the video with some friends and family. All right, I'll see y'all soon. Ew.